Welcome back to another episode of Jock Talk. I'm here with Scott Walker, former WDSU News anchor for sports and other news, and he's a politician right now. Today we're going to be talking about the Saints and Pelicans. Thank you for joining.
What's up, Colin? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Let's get started with the Pelicans. What do you think about Trey Murphy being on open for offers?
Do you want to talk first about all the years at playground basketball that I never got to have you on my team and I always had to beat you?
You never beat me.
Maybe a couple of times, right?
No, not once.
Look, Trey Murphy is a guy that I think the Pelicans would like to see be here, but I can also see the advantages for having him move because you can get some assets for him and build a better team going forward. But I like Trey Murphy. I mean, he's a young guy. He's an explosive shooter. He brings an energy to the floor that some other players might have a hard time duplicating. So I would like to see him stay. I don't know if that's the reality for him, but I think it'd be cool to have him as a Pelican next year.
Yeah, I would like if I traded him, I'd need like a good package back in return from the Blazers seem like a good package. If they give me like Klingon, Jeremy Grant, and Scoot Henderson and a couple picks for Trey Murphy, and
Yeah, you better get something good for him. If you're going to let him go, you got to get multiple picks or multiple players in exchange.
Because I don't really want to see him go, because we're like on a build now, win now program. Joe said, and if you trade him for some picks, it feels like you're rebuilding, not on a win now program.
Right. I think over the past few years, it seems like the Pelicans have been close. They're not a terrible team. Their record has indicated differently for a couple of years, and they've changed coaches and they've changed presidents and they've changed everything that they can change, minus wholesale roster changes. They bought into Zion. They want him to be around, and they're going to keep him as part of their future plans, at least for now, it appears. So you need to have those pieces around him to really make a difference. And I think they're there. They need to stay healthy and they need to play well. And I don't think the Pelicans are that far away from being a lower seeded playoff team. I mean, look where the Knicks were just a few years ago, and they won the championship a few days ago. So they're not that far. And I don't think anybody is that far in the NBA because it's such a competitive league. A few good pieces here and there and a couple of good moves, and you're right in the mix.
Yes, indeed. What do you think about trading up into the top 10 of this draft?
Look, and that might be what Trey Murphy gets you. So if moving Trey Murphy gets you into that top 10 and there's a guy worth going after, that you also get something else for Trey Murphy besides that move up in the top 10, but you get a guy that you believe in, that you've targeted, that you think is that difference maker, who's better or who's going to be better than Trey Murphy, then it's tough to pass up. But you got to have something good to get into that top 10 without giving up your future as well, right?
If I gave up Herb Jones and something else to get in top 10, I would 100% do it. But for me to trade Trey Murphy, I'd want a Jaylen Brown back, because he's on the market too. So
right. And what's Dejounte Murray going to do for the Pelicans this year?
I think he's going to get traded.
And if he does, then what a wasted opportunity having him here, because he was hurt for most of the time he's been a Pelican, and you never really got to see what he could do. So if he does leave, another failed experiment because of injuries that have befallen the Pelicans. But
always having injuries.
Yeah, it's the story of their franchise. I mean, injuries always eat them up, and what looks like a promising season with a ton of potential continuously and consistently gets derailed because of various injuries.
Yes, indeed. I think Dejounte Murray, I want him to get traded to Phoenix and get me trade Dejounte Murray to Phoenix and Herb Jones to Phoenix, get me Jalen Green in return, and also Dillon Brooks.
I mean, Joe Dumars might need you in the front office, right?
Uh-huh.
He can't do this by himself when you're sitting over here on your podcast coming up with these great trade ideas. You and Fletcher Mackel with your trade ideas should get together and come up with these amazing trades for the Pelicans.
Fletcher Mackel has a lot of hot takes on his trades.
Too many. You need to get Fletcher on the podcast. I mean, he would be a great guest for you to have here, because
I don't have his contact.
I will handle that for you. We'll get him on your podcast, all right? Because y'all would have great conversations.
Yeah. What do you think about you think the coaching hire was the right choice, or do you think we should have went with Rondo or Hetzel?
I mean, Rondo's never been a head coach, right? So there's a gamble there with a former player that was a good former player, but is he the right fit? And is a coach who was fired in his last stop the right fit? Just because he wore out his welcome with those players doesn't necessarily mean he'll wear out his welcome anytime soon with the Pelicans. By all accounts, he is a player's coach. He's a good man. People love him. People spoke very highly of him. The media in Orlando spoke very highly of him. So, if you have the media on your side, then you've probably done a pretty good job. So that means he's a nice man. He treats people well, and he won enough to get the Magic into the playoffs. But that's all they would do is get into the playoffs. They never advanced. So I think now the Pelicans would take, let's get into the playoffs and see what happens. They would take that.
Let's see if we can get some pieces around him. I would have liked Rondo a little bit more because it brings something exciting to the fan base, something new. He has a really good IQ, I think. He basically coached when he was hurt on the sidelines. He coached the team. Then he turned around the Pelicans. He was the leader. I think he would get everyone in shape, everyone in the right place. Mostly, I think it was a safe hire, not the most exciting hire we could have done, but safe hire. 40+ wins 3 seasons in a row, but couldn't get past the first round. But if Franz Wagner didn't get hurt this year, I think they would have got past the first round and made it to the second round, and he would have still had his job with the Magic.
Yeah, and I think what you get with this hire. You don't know exactly what you get with Rondo. So when you said it's a safe hire, it probably was a safer hire because you've seen results. You've seen him get a team to the playoffs that was garbage before he got there. So hopefully you can reproduce that with the Pelicans and then maybe make some noise when you actually do get into the playoffs.
Do you think we need a center on this team, a good center?
I mean, wouldn't everybody love to have a good center? Wouldn't it be great if there was a Wemby on every corner? But it doesn't happen. And, Zion can kind of play inside and outside and grab those rebounds when you need him. So this team doesn't seem like it's built or is going to be built to have a true center right now that's a difference maker. So I don't know. I'm not the coach. It seems like they have the pieces in place to work it the way they need it to work without that true center. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I hope we get a really good center. I want Ware out of the Miami Heat. If Giannis doesn't get traded to the Heat, I would like Ware. Or if it's a 3-team trade, we get Hero and Ware and the Heat get a couple picks and Giannis and the Bucks get a couple picks and some players in return.
You have it figured out.
That's what I want. That's who I.
You have it all figured out.
How many wins do you think this team will get to this year? After no injuries at all.
Yeah, remind me how many wins they finished with this season?
26.
Yeah, I think they can be. I mean, with some luck and some good fortune, a 40+ win team and get into the playoffs. I mean, if you're at 44 wins, you're at 500 or so.
Yeah.
So I think if you're around there, you're in a good spot, and that's not a ton of wins to make up over the course of a season. So I think they can be a mid 40 win team if they stay healthy and then see what happens in the playoffs.
Yes. Let's get over to the Saints. What do you think about Tyler Shuck? You think he's going to improve or people can figure him out?
I love Tyler Shuck. And all last season, that's the Saints put him in about 2 weeks after I was calling for him to be in, because once you saw Spencer Rattler and you saw what he was going to give you, which wasn't bad. I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback, but he was not the guy who was going to ignite that spark. He was not the guy that you were going to rally behind and go to war with. So I thought we saw enough Spencer Rattler. And at some point, and they got to it, thank goodness, you had to see what Tyler Shuck had to know if you had a quarterback and if you had to draft somebody next year or not. So they finally got him in there. When he got in, I think he exceeded just about everybody's expectations, what he brought to the field. So you found out that you have your quarterback. You didn't have to draft a quarterback. You can get some other pieces in place. And if he stays healthy, you might have your quarterback for the next 10 12 years, because he is an older quarterback, but Drew Brees played till he was just about 40. So I love what he brings to the game. I love the fire and competitiveness and the athleticism, the way we saw him run for some long touchdowns towards the end of last season. And the way he just can drop back in the pocket and fire some lasers at people. I mean, he's very accurate. He's got that Drew Brees type of accuracy, and he's got more athleticism running the ball.
Very mobile. Yeah, very mobile.
Drew Brees didn't have that mobility. So I think he adds an extra dimension when you don't know if he's going to take off and run or if he's going to hit you with a 30-yard pass down the field. So I love what he brings to the table. And I think, like Cam Jordan said, he's in on the Saints being a Super Bowl team this season. That might be a little bit optimistic, but I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Look at what the Patriots did one year to the next. I mean, it's possible in the NFL just like in the NBA because there's so much parity now.
Yeah, I like Tyler Shuck. I think he's like really good, sets the standards very high. He's involved outside the community, always wherever he wants to be. He'll be with us. He did Mardi Gras. He practiced with Drew Brees in San Diego over the summer. So I'm very excited to see how he does this year.
That's the big thing. Like Derek Carr never became part of the community when he came in here, and the fans never truly embraced him. As soon as Tyler Shuck got to town, he went to dinner at Drago's, and he's done things that are part of the New Orleans culture since then. So he's ingratiated himself with the fans and the community. And when things go rough, you're automatically going to have more of a leash and more of a base of forgiveness and understanding than you do if you're a Derek Carr who doesn't embrace the community. And they're much more quickly, much faster to criticize and throw out the door than they are with a guy like Tyler Shuck who's invested in the community.
How do you think our draft class was this year?
Seems like it's got the potential to be one of the better draft classes. I mean, they've got some real players in that draft class. I love Jordan Tyson. If he can stay healthy, I think he is a difference maker. He is so fast, and the help they got on the line and at tight end, I mean, they added pieces that they needed, and the defense is still going to be good. I mean, you lose Demario Davis, but you keep Cam, who I still think has gas in the tank, and he's got some players around him. And look, if they're hungry for a Super Bowl, like Cam sounds like he's hungry for a Super Bowl, and he's on a one-year deal to prove that he still got it. Let's see what he's got. I mean, he had 10 sacks last year. I wouldn't, if he stays healthy, which he traditionally has, I don't rule out him with another double-digit sack year because the defense is made for a guy like him, and Brandon Staley has done a great job coordinating it. And Kellen Moore is a player's coach that they can relate to and rally around. They've got great pieces in place. So I'd be extremely disappointed if the Saints weren't a playoff team this season because I think they've got at least that to get them there. What they do after that, who knows?
I think the Saints could be really good this year with that defense, really good. Lost a few players like Demario Davis, Alante Taylor, but you got Caden Ellis from the Falcons who used to play for the Saints. You re-picked them up. Travis Etienne, running back duo of Alvin Kamara and Travis Etienne. So I'm really excited to see what Kellen Moore draws up with that system. And Etienne's fast, and he can play wide receiver too.
Remember, he wants to be called HN.
HN, yes.
But I think him in the backfield with Alvin Kamara, who I still think has some gas in the tank, and he doesn't have to be the featured guy. You can spot play Alvin Kamara, keep him fresh, let him come in on third downs, let him catch passes out of the backfield, let him do things that play into his strengths, and you can have a really strong running back combination back there with HN and Alvin Kamara in the backfield.
You can like do it like how you do with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Like when Alvin Kamara came in, he started, and Mark Ingram still did really good on the bench when he came in.
Yeah, 100%. Mark Ingram was on his way out, Kamara was on his way in, and now the roles are reversed.
Yes. What do you think about Chris Olave? You think he's going to get an extension this offseason?
He should. I mean, he's about as good as they come. I'd like to see him not drop as many balls and try and stay healthy because, man, he's taken some hits and he's had some concussions, and that catches up with you. So I really hope that he can stay healthy and not take any more hits to the head like that because it's scary. I mean, he took some scary hits last year and was down for several games because of those hits. So I'd love to see him stay healthy and really show what he can do. I think it's just been bad luck again with injuries where you take those fluky shots to the head or you hit the ground hard on your head and it leads to a concussion that puts you out for a couple of games.
Because like when he's healthy, he shows really big expectations. He's like really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast. And with Jordan Tyson there now, I mean, he needed a complimentary receiver. So that takes some of the pressure off of him. And you've got some other guys. Who's the guy they got from Kansas City, whose name from Denver, whose name I'm blanking on right now?
Devon Vele.
Yeah, I think he's shown some flashes. He's a big receiver who catches balls over the middle. And, he has the Sean Payton coaching background a little bit. He's been under him, and now he's with the Saints. I like him. I think if he stays healthy, he'll have a good year. It's funny how it all goes back to being healthy. If you're healthy, all of a sudden good coaches become great coaches when everybody stays healthy.
You think Kellen Moore is a top 10 coach in the league, or do you have to give it some time?
I think he's getting there. I don't know if he is yet. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of his body of work, but I think once you get into the playoffs and you're in that upper echelon of the NFL teams, then you're a top 10, top 15 coach automatically, because those are the teams that make the playoffs. So I think he's a really good coach. I like what he's brought to the team. I think we need to see what he brings in year 2. Year 1 was good, but let's improve on it. Let's see what you got in year 2.
Yeah, same. You happy Cam Jordan's back?
I am. I mean, he shouldn't have signed anywhere else, and I didn't think he would sign anywhere else. I always thought the Saints would bring him back. He was going to go out there, test the market, see if the market set his value at a certain number. The Saints were going to wait and, probably had a conversation with him, something to the effect of, hey, before you go anywhere, we want to talk to you. Before you agree to anywhere else, we want to talk to you. And they end up with him back in the fold for another year, and maybe it leads to another year, depending on the year that he has. Because he had initially said he wanted 2 years, and the Saints didn't offer him a contract. And now they've offered him the 1, and that's probably the best that Cam got. So he's probably going to play with a chip on his shoulder to prove that he's still got it, and maybe wants to play that second year and might fight for another contract with the Saints. But he shouldn't be in another uniform. I mean, he should start with the Saints and end with the Saints and become a coach or whatever, and that's it. Just stay with the organization.
I don't know, because like yesterday he posted on his social media that it said like 1 year, 1 team, 1 last year together. Like, it sounds like he's retiring.
Yeah, it sounds
or he
like
said
it.
he was retiring.
It sounds like it. You never know. But I know at one point he had told me in a conversation he had wanted 2 years. So either his thinking has changed or he's just evolved with the situation. Or it hasn't changed. He's not saying it. But I think if he has a great year, then maybe he does do 1 more. Or if he doesn't have the year that he wants to, he hangs it up. Or if he has a great year, maybe he hangs it up. So I know he's got family in Arizona, and that's where he lives in the off season. And the kids are getting older, so there's probably a pull back there closer to family. And look, as long as he's here, I'm happy, and I want to see him be a Saint as long as he possibly can be.
Yeah, same. What do you think about our record expectations?
I mean, they should be like a 10-win team, 11-win team. I think that's not outside the realm of possibility to be right there. If you're lucky and you get some breaks, maybe you're a 12-win team. Maybe that's being greedy based on what they were last year. But I mean, they finished strong, and that can propel you into a really good offseason and a really good next season. So I would like to see 10 minimum. Again, I think 10, you're in the playoffs. 9, maybe you're in the playoffs. But 10 gets you there, and that's what I think people expect this season in Tyler Shutt's year 2.
I can see we go 12-5. I'd like to see that. I think
we'd love that.
High expectation, but like really good.
Look, when I was growing up, the Saints were terrible. They weren't good until Sean Payton got here. They had a couple of great seasons in between. The first playoff win with Aaron Brooks and Jim Haslett back then, but generally they were bad. And when I would pick records every season, every year for my whole childhood into my adulthood, I said 10-6. Saints are gonna be 10-6. That's when they played the 16 games. And excuse me, a couple times they hit that 10-6. Most of the time they were under 10-6, but I just stuck with 10-6 forever. So now, since they played the 17 games, I guess I'll go 11-6 or 10-7. Stick with that
same prediction. You think we can switch into LSU real quick?
Sure.
What do you think Lane Kiffin brings a winning team over here this year?
How can he not? I think everybody would be stunned, shocked, disappointed if he didn't win 10 games with this team. I think that's the expectation. It's a win now mentality. They've spent a ton of money on guys in the portal, $50 million or so?
Yeah, 48 million.
Yeah, so that hire comes with big expectations, and they expect big results. You don't get 4 or 5 years anymore, as Brian Kelly proved. He came in with all the fanfare and the expectations, and it fizzled pretty quickly, and the fan base never really embraced him. Lane Kiffin showed what he could do at a school like Ole Miss, got them to the college football playoff, and now he's at LSU with more resources, the ability to attract arguably better talent, and play on a bigger stage than Ole Miss would ever be able to play on. So the pieces are there. I think he's a great coach, and I think he'll
great recruiter also.
Great recruiter, and now he's got Coach O helping recruit too, which is a massive hire. I think that hire can't be overstated how really good it is to have Coach O back in the building and not being the head coach, because I think he had a lot of talent. People questioned his actual head coaching ability, but as a recruiter and a D-line coach, you can't question that ability. So I think he adds a ton and adds some credibility to that program, and it's going to help Lane Kiffin be successful in year one and beyond. So I think they're a playoff team, and where they go from there, we'll see.
Yeah, I think they can make a playoff run. Also, I think they can be a playoff team this year. It depends how they start off. We always start off slow, so hopefully we can start off strong. We got a good quarterback in Sam Levitt. Got some good wide receivers. We also got Caden Durham back and Harlem Berry, so that was big. Got Trey'Dez Green, who I think is going to be like a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. Then the defense is just loaded with, you got 2 5 stars in Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson.
Yep.
Then
And
some
look,
other.
the caveat is you never know, because the SEC is such a meat grinder and such a tough place to play. And if you drop one that you're not supposed to, you miss an extra point, a kick return doesn't go your way, and you lose one you should win by 3 or 6 or something like that, and you fall into that second tier. All of a sudden you're on the cusp of the playoff and you don't make it. That's so easy to happen in the SEC, where you're a playoff team or you're right on the outside looking in. So that's what the disclaimer I always put out when talking about SEC teams. You just never know, because the SEC is so tough. My son is a sophomore, going to be a junior at Alabama, and he's been able to talk trash to all of his LSU friends for a few years now because they've won in football. But I said, you better prepare yourself for a different type of outcome. Maybe Alabama still wins. Maybe it's a different outcome, and maybe LSU gets the upper hand again. But those are the types of games: LSU Alabama, LSU Tennessee, LSU Florida. All those games that can go either way, and you just never know.
Does LSU play Alabama this year since of the schedule change?
I think they still do. I need to check the schedule. Maybe not. They might be off the schedule now.
Do you think? What do you think about Charlie Weiss, the offensive coordinator? You think he's good? Because they play November 7th.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Weiss is really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's proven he's good. He's got a great lineage. His dad was a great offensive coordinator, still continues to coach and do a good job. So I think he's as good of an offensive coordinator as there is anywhere in college football, and maybe compare him to some at the NFL level. And he'll probably get a shot at some point, just like Joe Brady's gotten his shot. He's gone from LSU and he's gone to the NFL, and now he's a head coach.
At the Bills.
So yeah, and that's the type of path I could see somebody like Charlie Weiss taking, because of his pedigree and because of the experience that he's had. So I think he'll be a really good OC for LSU, and they'll do some good things with that offense. And like you said, Sam Levitt, the running back core is stable. The wide receivers are great. The line is going to be improved. So I mean, they could be really good on offense.
Hopefully they have what it takes. You think LSU versus Ole Miss, game of the year? Who do you think wins, and what do you think the score will be? I'll give you my predictions also.
Man, that's going to be a game, or at least we think it's going to be a game. I think it could be one-sided. Like LSU could go in there and just blow Ole Miss out of their building. That would be wild to me to see them go there and do that. I think it'll probably be a pretty close point spread, but that's one of those games you can see the emotions on both sides getting out of hand. People are scuffling on the field during the game, before the game, after the game, and you can see one team running away with it. And I think LSU would be that team if that happened, or you could see it coming down to a field goal. I think it could be a blowout, or it could be like as tight as they come, and it's a nail biter. But I think it'll be the game of the year to watch. That's for sure.
I think it'll be like a 7-point game or 14-point game. Like, I think LSU is gonna win because they have a better coach.
Yeah.
So
I just don't know what Pete Golding brings as a head coach with a full off season and with his guys and doing all the game plans and making sure that they're in the position to win. I don't know what he brings. He's an unknown to me, and he's been around a long time and gets this opportunity because Kiffin left. Otherwise, he still wouldn't be a head coach in the SEC, and probably wouldn't have been for a period of time.
Many years.
Because he hadn't been. So I don't know. To me, he's an unproven commodity, and Lane Kiffin's a proven commodity. And in a game like that, I give Lane Kiffin the edge.
Yeah, same. I do give Lane Kiffin the edge. What do you think? How far you think, if they make the playoffs, how far you think they can go?
I mean, if they're in, I think the sky's the limit, because once you're in, things change and things equalize, and you're not that much faster than everybody else anymore, and you're not that much more precise on your routes and the way the quarterbacks throw the ball. I mean, everybody, for the most part, evens up in those higher seeds in the playoffs. So once they're in, I think they make some noise, because you got to think Ohio State's in there, Georgia's in there, maybe Alabama's in there. Who am I forgetting? Like those top five. Maybe Oregon's back.
Yeah. Notre Dame may be back this year.
Yeah. So once you're in there, I think anybody can do it. So LSU could win a national championship this year. I don't think that's crazy to say. They've won it with lesser talent in the past, so I think they could really make some noise.
Great players back too. Like Weeks is back, really big.
Yep, and
leader of the team.
And like I said, great players make great coaches, and if they're all healthy and they're all playing like they're supposed to, then Lane Kiffin goes from a good coach to a great coach real fast.
Yes. Before we end it, you have any discussions you want to bring about before we end the show?
I just can't say how honored I am to be on the Cullen Connick Jock Talk podcast. How many guests have you had?
Like 4 so far. I have one more tomorrow, then start getting a new wave of guests coming on.
Yeah, we'll get Fletcher Mackel hooked up with you, so I think that will be that'll be a good conversation, and I've enjoyed it. So thanks for having me, and I'm really sorry I had to beat you so many times at playground basketball with my clearly dominant superior team.
You never beat me once.
You can believe that. That's fine. Thank you, Cullen. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for coming on. This is the latest episode of Jock Talk. It will be releasing soon. Thanks for coming on. More people are coming on soon. See ya.